This is how I feel when I read articles or hear things like what I'm about to share with you. Crazy eye trigger warning. So my husband comes home from work today and he just kind of has this look on his face like almost like he's confused but just kind of dumbfounded. Like, did I really hear what I just heard on the radio? Anyhow, so he's listening to the radio and there's like an ABC News break, right? And they were discussing how Chanel, the fashion company, has been getting a lot of shit because they made a boomerang. And people are getting pissed off because Chanel making an expensive fancy boomerang is cultural appropriation of the Aboriginal people of Australia. Oh shit. I mean, this is just hilarious. I mean, you don't see them protesting Nerf for freak's sake. This is ridiculous. This cracks me up. I just about died. So yeah, I'm going to share the article with you guys today. So let's check it out, shall we? Chanel's $2,000 boomerang sparks complaints and confusion from Indigenous Australians. French high fashion brand Chanel has come under fire for appropriating Aboriginal culture by selling a boomerang that retails for almost $2,000. The black wood and resin boomerang, priced at $1,930, is one of several items available in the other accessories line of Chanel's recently launched 2017 Spring-Summer Pre-Collection. The collection also includes a $2,220 tennis racket, $4,860 set of beach rackets and balls, and a price available upon request paddleboard. The boomerang came to prominence on social media when American makeup artist and vlogger Jeffree Star posted photos of the item, which he's presumed to own. And, he talks about he's having so much fun with his new toy from Chanel. Social media users have ridiculed the whole collection as exorbitantly priced, but the boomerang has come under particular condemnation for appropriating Indigenous Australian culture. One user wrote, "Cultural appropriation hits a new low. I sincerely hope that Chanel is donating all the profits to underprivileged Aboriginal communities." Writer and activist Niyuka Gori wrote, "Have decided to save for the next 3 years so I can connect with my culture via Chanel." Okay, so I can totally agree that it is massively exorbitantly overpriced. But shit, you know what? We live in a capitalist society. I know a lot of leftist fucktards don't like that. But we live in a capitalist society and people can spend their hard-earned money on whatever they want. I also do kind of think that her comment on, saving up for a few years so that she can connect with her heritage is actually pretty hilarious. So, good for you. That was a pretty funny comment, actually. The National Museum of Australia describes boomerangs as playing an important role in Aboriginal culture as objects of work and leisure, but following the arrival of Europeans in Australia, they became popular as a souvenir by the late 19th century. Since then, cheap imitations have flooded the market, but there has been a recent push to better protect local creators. Chanel should make appropriate reparations, says expert. Professor of Intellectual Property and Innovation at the Queensland University of Technology, Matthew Rimmer, resident douchebag apparently, said the controversy highlighted the need for law reform. The legal system has only partially responded to the problem, Professor Rimmer said. Landmark copyright litigation was brought in the 1990s over rip-offs and copycats of Indigenous art, but further reform is needed. At an international level, more should be done to implement the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples in respect of Indigenous intellectual property. He also said that Chanel should offer some reparations to the Indigenous community. As a good corporate citizen, Chanel should apologize fully, withdraw the boomerang from sale, and make appropriate reparations to Australian Indigenous communities. Chanel regrets some have been offended. Chanel released a statement saying the brand is extremely committed to respecting all cultures and regrets that some may have felt offended. I love how that's like the left's answer for just about everything. We need more reform. We need bigger government to control us and tell us what we can and can't do in every tiny fucking tiny thing in our lives that we do. This cultural appropriation is bullshit. It reminds me of that poor little girl. She was like 11 or 12 who got cornrows. And people just got lambasted because she thought her friends that had cornrows looked pretty. And she was a white blonde girl and she got cornrows and she just got harassed like crazy from the African American community over cultural appropriation. Guess what, bitches? I'm Irish. And guess what, bitches? The Celts wore dreadlocks and had cornrows way before any of you motherfuckers. So, you want to talk about cultural appropriation? Maybe you should go back. And why the hell should Chanel apologize for anything? I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. This whole, just the massive stupidity involved in complaining about cultural appropriation. I mean, have you ever heard the term that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery? Huh? Have you ever heard that? Fuckers? God, you people drive me insane. Seriously, and they think reparations should be paid to the Aboriginal people. This is retarded. This is like me saying, okay, well, you know what? I'm Irish, so any of you motherfuckers who celebrate St. Patrick's Day can fuck off and you need to buy all my drinks for the rest of my life, because that's my reparations for you celebrating St. Patrick's Day, because you're appropriating my culture. Actually, that would kind of be kind of cool. Just a thought. The boomerang is still available on the Chanel website. It is not the first time Chanel has produced boomerangs, but the silver monogrammed version recently sold on luxury secondhand website The Real Real for $295. A number of fashion labels have been criticized in recent years for cultural appropriation. In 2015, Valentino was condemned for using white models with cornrows to show off its latest collection, which the fashion label's designers acknowledged as being heavily influenced by Africa. Victoria's Secret was forced to apologize in 2012 for putting a Native American-style headdress on a model in one of its fashion shows. The outfit was broadly criticized for ignoring tribal culture and history. In 2011, Hindus took part in angry protests after Byron Bay fashion designer exhibited swimsuits with the image of the goddess Lakshmi at Australian Fashion Week. Wow, you guys. Seriously. Okay, bottom line, cultural appropriation is complete and total fucking bullshit. And see, even in the article with the freaking cornrows again. God, it's so stupid. But it's bullshit. It is complete and total bullshit. Anybody should be able to pretty much create, dress, I'm sorry, but as long as they're dressing appropriately, they're not, showing their body in inappropriate ways that isn't legal. If people aren't breaking the law, who gives a flying fuck? All of this talk about cultural appropriation, all you morons who bitch about that, dude, okay, so the people in America who complain about it all the time most of them have never even been to their country of origin. Ever. But they bitch about people appropriating their culture. Bitch, you don't even know what your culture is. You're American. We're all American. We're a melting pot. We bring each other's cultures together and melt them together in a melting pot so we can create a society where any of us can be free to be who we really are. That's what y'all fuckers claim to fight for all the time, isn't it? So what are you bitching about? Anyway, I think my eye's gonna permanently be like crazy like this after going off and reading this shit all the time. It is insane. I feel like I don't know. I feel like my IQ is going down every time I watch the news, listen to the news, read an article. It makes me fucking stupider. And pretty soon, you guys will just see me doing this. So please, for the sanity of your friend Babbling Brook and all of my fellow human beings out there that have even half a brain, please, please, stop being so fucking retarded. Thank you. This is Babbling Brook. Love y'all.